What is going on, guys? Welcome to episode number 14. I hope everyone had a great weekend. I am Rio Santana. In a little bit, my father, JC Santana, will be coming up. UFC 298, complete banger. Great fights, all the way from the early prelims to the main event. But I'm not going to waste your time. I'm going to let Dad get into it and everything. But let me just say, Ilia Topuria is a bad man. Bad man. I didn't care which guy fought. I mean, my little Hard Rock app, I wish Volk would have won, but it's okay. I put a 10-fight parlay, and the two people that cost me were Mackenzie Dern. That girl's tough as hell, though. Mackenzie Dern and Volk. Other than that, $10 would have won me $3,300. It would have been a good little payday, but I did enjoy the fight. I mean, Ilia, I think I said it last episode, has some of the crispiest boxing skills and hands and movement and everything that I think UFC has seen in a while. I think a pretty cool matchup would be in Spain. Him and Sugar would blow the roof off that damn thing. Put him in the stadium, put him where Real Madrid plays, and that thing will sell out within seconds. But congratulations to Ilia Topuria. Volk, you're my man. Love you to death. You are definitely the GOAT of that division, and I would say top 10 fighter of UFC history for sure. Definitely Hall of Famer. But take some time on this one. Take some time, Ilia. Enjoy it. Young cat. I think they actually compared him and Conor year by year in the UFC. They both went 15-0, I think at the age of 26, 27. Both beat the number one guy in the GOAT of that division at that time with a knockout. So it was pretty cool to see the comparison between both of those guys. One a little bit louder than the other, but both have that kind of like swag, GQ, could model part-time, could do this, could act part-time, and could fight full-time. So congratulations again, my man. Another congratulations to my Panthers. I think we put 11 straight wins on the road. I think the team record or the NHL record is 12. We got a home game coming up, and I think we go back on the road. So let's see if we can break that record, but they are definitely in the Stanley Cup circle, okay? We're going to make a run for it this year. I love the team. They play, I wouldn't use the word dirty, but they just in your face for straight 3 periods, freaking South Florida Panthers hockey. But yeah, man, I think we got UFC 299 coming up and UFC 300. I know Dana released that it's going to be Alex versus, what's his name, Hill at UFC 300 as a main event. Cool, great. I think we're going to see a knockout. But in my opinion, okay, if you had to put UFC 299 and UFC 300, my opinion, and put your opinion below, let me know what you think as well too. I think 299 outstacks 300 by a long shot. I think there's going to be more finishes. I think people are going to be more hungry to go after it. I think UFC 300, there's so many ranked versus ranked guys. I think it's going to be a little bit more of a quieter night, but I could be wrong. Trust me, I want both cards to be freaking crazy, just KOs, TKOs, submissions, finishes, and barn burners all night long. I mean, me just being biased, that's what I always want from the UFC. But yeah, I think in my opinion, 299 versus 300, I think 299 gets the nod. Definitely for myself. Let me know what you think, but I'm not going to waste any more of your time. Here comes JC.
JC Santana coming to you from the Institute of Human Performance in sunny South Florida. First of all, you know I normally wear my IHP polo, but I got to rep this dude. John Anik is by far one of the best friends and supporters any person can have. And he's always so generous with his time, with his attention to Rio, myself, and IHP. Candy, Johnny, look, we got you. The Anik Florian podcast. Check them out if you want to know what's happening in the MMA community and very, very good takes. Longo's there with his with his coaching and little anecdotes, which I love because, you know, Longo is old school. He's more like me, and he comes from that no bullshit era. So I love his take on a lot of things. You know, you poke the bear's gonna bite your ass. You know, when Khabib jumped over the cage. Kenny Florian, I trained his trainer. by the way. And so Kenny Florian kind of was trained a little bit under the IHP system because Kevin Kearns was his trainer for several years. So I've always respected Kenny, especially the elbows from the bottom. Dude, we coach that now. You were the king of elbows from the bottom. And of course, John Anik, the GOAT, unequivocally, as far as MMA. And I dare to say that if you put him in football or basketball, he'll blow those people away because it's not his knowledge about MMA. It's his ability to prepare and his detail, his attention to detail and his natural gift for language. Forget it. He's going to succeed anywhere he goes. UFC, you better take care of your boy, John Anik, because I'm telling you right now, if I was his agent, I would be banging the NFL for $3 million, $2 million, $1 million a year, which is a lot more than you're paying him now. So get your shit together and keep John Anik happy, all right? All right, enough of that. Here we go with the FHE segment. And FHE is our sponsor of the IHP Combat Department. They sponsor all of our fighters, and they are the #1 mental health facility, I think, in the country. Certainly in Florida. You can't touch these people for what they do for mental illness, drug addiction, and everything else related to mental health, whether it's brain damage due to repetitive concussive trauma, or a single concussive trauma, as in the military, paramilitary applications with bomb squads and depression, drug addiction, you name it, they're there. They are top notch. If you have a problem, or somebody who may have a mental health problem, go see FHE. Thank you, Rami. Thank you, Sharif. Let's go. Maryna and Jackie are coming up in March. Thad was coming up, but poor Thad. They're screwing him over at is it Bellator? PFL. Jesus, they can't get that shit right with that. But sooner or later he's gonna tromp on somebody and he's gonna get him. But anyways, Maryna and Jackie. Jackie is like, I kid both of them because I go, what are you girls getting ready for photo shoots? Because of course they're dieting down, they're trimming down. They look more shapely, more like a fitness competitor because their body composition is changing due to their additional volume and reduced calorie intake and whatnot. So it's funny how each one approaches the weight cut different. Maryna is way ahead of time, way too. She's too light right now. Jackie has that dialed in, but Maryna cuts less towards the end than Jackie does. So, anyways, we're there. We're getting there. We're getting there now. March is around the corner, so they're starting to dial into the heavier volume and paying attention to their nutrition. I would say right now they're about 15% of the weight out. So if you're fighting, let's say 115, you should be at about 130, 132 now. Cut down the day you fly, you may be 12 over. The day you fly out, 13 over. You'd lose 1 per Monday through Wednesday, and then you lose your last 8 Thursday and Friday morning, around there. So that's kind of what we're gearing for. Both of them are doing awesome. Their training is coming along super good. We're very excited because we want to see how they perform post IHP. This is Jackie's second fight with us, and this is Maryna's first fight with us. So
this is Jackie's third.
Jackie's third?
Wow. Third, yeah.
Jackie's third fight with us.
UFC debut.
Yeah, UFC debut. I think it was a lot of the nerves. The second one, she just ramped it up, and then this one here, we're curious to see if we get more of that second fight, the aggressiveness and relying on her gas tank because she knows it's there. Because until you use the gas tank, you don't know how to use it. That's part of the training that we do. That's part of the coaching. That's part of the pacing. So anyways, our fighters are doing awesome. Daniel, Mark, and Gregory are resting. Daniel is in Peru with his family right now, and I told all of them, for every week of hard camp, you're out a week. I don't want to see you. No, coach, come in. Let me lift with you. Let me lift with you and Greg. No. I don't want to see you. I don't want to see you. Sympathetic, parasympathetic. You shouldn't be thinking about fighting. There's not even a fight anywhere near in the horizon. Learn how to get away from the fighting, because you don't understand. As long as you're dialed in to the fighting, it's a post-traumatic stress disorder type of syndrome. Which means your sympathetic nervous system still owns you. You got adrenal overdrive. That can lead to adrenal fatigue, and you don't even know it. That's why you want to get in the gym. You want to get in the gym. When you can kick back and enjoy life outside of the gym, that's when your sympathetic and parasympathetic start to even out. Your parasympathetic is necessary to repose, recover, digest, and do all the nice things that your body needs. The sympathetic is that fight or flight, thing, right? So as long as you're driving here, your adrenals are going. So imagine you're constantly injecting yourself with adrenaline, let's say. And that can get tiring, man. That gets hormonally tiring, that gets psychologically tiring, that gets spiritually tiring. You got to get away from that, So anyways, they're doing their best they can away from us. At least, we can't control what they do at home, but we can control them not being here. So we're all good there. Before we go on the rant, I want to kind of recap a little bit of what happened, the way I saw it. First, with Alex and Ilia, I called that fight last week. I told everybody. Everybody says, Volkanovski is going to run through him. Volkanovski is an awesome fighter. Okay, awesome fighter. But there may be that we've seen the best of him already. And if we can continue to see the best of him, that's a formidable guy. I mean, he's cleaned the division out. He will be in the Hall of Fame. He is the best that's ever been in that division. Okay? But every dog sees his day. And I told everybody, there's a difference. Plus, I don't know mentally where Volkanovski is at right now in light of going up, getting beat, going this one here. That can shed some light on you. When you get knocked out and you've never been knocked out, that can shed some light on your vulnerability, on your humanity. And that can shed some light on your confidence. Are you still as confident as before? Are you still feel that you're invincible? When you have a guy who's going through mental issues, which he clearly was, and perhaps still is, you got to wonder, did that loss, or did that process, whether it be the 2-week notice, the loss, the whatever, did that open up some wounds? Did that create some doubt? Did that ignite a process that he's going to have to deal with now? I don't know, but I felt that it did. I felt there was a wound that was open there. That doesn't mean he can't beat it, but he's got to deal with it, and deal with it is not like, okay, I recognize it, boom. No. It may take a fight or two or several, and he doesn't have that time. He doesn't have that time. He's not 27. He's not 25. Okay? So I see in Ilia a brand new hunter that is super confident, feel that nobody can touch him, and with good reason. And so I felt that Volkanovski was a great fighter fighting and dealing with shit in his life right now, which automatically doesn't put him at his best. It'll put him at his best once he conquers this and he evolves past this challenge. But he's in the middle of this challenge, mental health challenge, if you want to see it that way. Ilia is not. Ilia is not. So what happens here? Ilia is hunting. Max is fighting. Alex is fighting and overcoming challenges. Okay? Remember what we talked about last time, that there's a feel that judges get. Who is hunting and who is fighting. And sometimes the person fighting technically does a little bit better and they show better on the numbers. But there's a feeling of who the hunter is. And the judge will often go to the hunter because it represents dominance, okay, in 3 rounds. Where have we seen this? Where have we seen this? You know what, the first time I saw it and I said, he's going to get his ass beat, when Conor fought Khabib. And Conor was marketing and selling, and he believed in himself. But he almost like said a lot of it to convince himself. Khabib had this silent predator shit to him. And you first saw it in the first standoff here. He wasn't shaken by none of this. Where when you saw Aldo in the face of that made up veracity, Aldo fell for it. You could just see it. It bothered him. He was uncomfortable. Habib was just like a cat looking at a string. None of this. You know why? Because I know that you're none of this. All of this is staged. All of this is what your mind is telling you to do. Okay? I recognize that. That's not even who you are. That's who you're trying to convince yourself that you are. I am here. And I am hunting your ass down. That energy is what you saw with Habib versus Conor. Is what you saw with Chimaev and Gilbert Burns. I love Gilbert, man. I think he's a savage. But in that fight, okay, you saw both go down. Who went down sideways and needed time to recover? Who went down and shot for an immediate takedown? Who went down in predator mode? Who went down in slay mode? Gilbert went down sideways in slay mode, just like he went against Kamaru. Okay? Chimaev took a right hand from Gilbert that would kill most people. And that right hand turned him into predator times 2 mode. Hit the ground, boom, shot a takedown. That's an energy, man. And Ilia had the same thing. We saw with Duplessis and Strickland. Strickland was coming out with a hype with the Nina bullshit and all this. Well, you can talk all that shit. Okay? You can talk all that shit. Maybe half of that is you trying to convince yourself that that's who you are. Fine. Duplessis never fell for it. Never fell for it. Duplessis was the hunter the entire fight, even when, because you can go back and be hunting. You can go back and be hunting. A hunter doesn't always go forward with the arrow. A hunter doesn't always go forward with the spear. A hunter sometimes sits back and lets the prey come to them and captures them, slays them, whatever. So don't think that going forward it means you're hunting. No, it's an energy. The judges human beings pick up on that. Okay? Especially men, because men have traditionally done the hunting. Men always, when they're communicating, the ultimate level, if this progresses to the next level, if there's no conflict resolution, the ultimate in conflict resolution is I will go into predator mode and I'm going to beat your ass. So violence. And in the violence, the predator wins. Usually that's the way it is. And men have that understanding. That's why men don't talk to each other behind each other's back. Men can go to a party and they won't, hi, how you doing? Oh, you look great, fantastic. Turn around and say, it's like, oh, you're such an asshole. No, men don't do that shit. Men will square up at the opposite sides of the room. You're here? Okay, I'm here too. So we got to coexist so we don't burn this whole place to hell. All right? So when you're at the bar, I won't be at the bar. When I'm at the bar, you're not at the bar. And as long as those boundaries are respected, we both get to walk out of here alive. And that's done with an instant, a look, 1 millisecond, we got it. You see what I'm saying? Women don't do that because that's not their history. That's not their DNA. So this thing with Ilia, I told my wife in the first round, I said, Ilia is what I thought. Ilia is hunting and Alex is fighting. Both were doing great. It was anybody's fight. It was anybody's fight technically. If you look at technically, anybody's fight. But I said, no, this is not anybody's fight because Ilia is hunting him. He'll take the shot and keeps hunting. He was confident in that he could take any shot. He was confident he was going to land his right hand because it was the right hand he was going to catch him with. Threw a straight, missed that one, and then came with an overhand right over that lazy left hand neck grip or reaching. Man, shit. I told my wife, I said, he's hunting him and he's going to catch him with the right hand. I said that in the first round. And I told Rio the week before, I said, Ilia has that I'm getting you. I'm getting you. The question is when I get you, but I'm going to get you. And a couple of my trainers said, no, Alex. I said, Alex is awesome, but Ilia is hunting and he's going to get him. And there he is. All right. So we saw that. So this leads to something. There's a feel that you can't fake. You can talk like Conor. You can scream and shock like Strickland. You can do whatever the fuck you want. But there's an authenticity to that feeling that hunter feeling, that predator feeling. There's an authenticity that people pick up. That's what the judges pick up on. Okay? Not all the time. There's crazy ass decisions. We got it. But for the most part, the judges, human beings, pick that up. All right? So that's going to be our rant that's coming up right now. Got it? So the 298 was awesome. Let me see what else that I wanted to talk about. Oh, Robert Whittaker against Paulo Costa. Really, that could have gone either way. I thought they were going to give it to Paulo and take it from Whittaker, but I'm glad they gave it to Whittaker. He might have edged them out, but it was tight. It was tight. I wouldn't have been mad. Jeff Neal, he gave it up. He gave it up. Gave Ian too much respect. Look, either you go out swinging and somebody takes you out, okay, or you do this shit. You do this shit. You play it conservative. You can clown around all you want. You lost the fight and you lost it righteously. Ian beat you to the punch. Wasn't exciting, but he beat you. Okay, the job of the fighter is to win. Take that win money and take that W and get on to the next one. Your job is not to impress anybody. It's to win because you're there for your family. All right. Merab and Cejudo. I told everybody Merab is winning. That's another one. Cejudo, he's got this to prove, that to prove. He's too much into the whole, reality show bullshit. And I never liked him. I think he has a small man complex. I just never liked him. Probably a really nice guy. If he was here, I'd probably have coffee. But just the way I feel him, the double C, the triple C, the take your knee down, all this bullshit. Bro, you ain't that. You ain't all that. Yes, you're one of the best fighters in combat because of all your accomplishments. But you know what? A dose of humility with you would have gone a long way with me, and I'm nobody, so that's fine. Merab, he's genuinely funny. I don't know if you've seen his YouTube videos commentating. Holy shit, man. He's like Khabib. He doesn't have to try to be funny and be funny. Because, send me location. Who talks like that? Khabib. So send me location, Air Khabib, all that shit. It was authentic. And when it's authentic, it comes through just beautiful. Okay? I bet you Cejudo is more humble in real life. If you see him hang out with him, I bet you he's not as arrogant as he comes out. So what happens? Okay? You're a Colby. Okay? You're a Colby. Yeah, you make some money, but it bites you in the ass because all this is a front. Everybody knows it. It's not authentic. It's not authentic. People feel it when you're being the heel. And yeah, they'll kind of give you a little something. You might make a little bit more money, but you go down as a piece of shit. You go down as a whore. You sold your personality and your authenticity for money because you couldn't do it on your own. You couldn't do it with your own character, with your own personality, with your own set of values, with your goddamn fist. If you knock everybody the fuck out, okay, people will pay to see. You don't have to say shit. You can be like Randy Couture. Okay? And you just beat people, and you can be courteous and be a gentleman. People will go see you. And you can be a heel like Colby. Like Colby, now he's gotten old. The whole bullshit has gotten old. So you can do that, get attention shit for the short term, but in the long run, in the old ways, that never pays off because it catches up to you. Every man's got a 1 hour rap. See him when he's down, and I'll show you who that man is. Okay? So, last but not least, I thought Roman was going to get him. And Fluffy didn't give him room to breathe. That's the thing. If you let Roman have that distance and time to set it up, Roman will fucking get you. Fluffy was on that shit like glue. Didn't give him time to breathe. And when you don't have time to breathe and then you get frustrated, holy shit, start spiraling down. And of course, the other one was Mackenzie versus Lemos. Should have been fight of the night. Got fight of the night. And Mackenzie showed me some stuff. Like Gilbert showed me some stuff against Shamaev I didn't know about Gilbert. He showed me some shit about Gilbert that's good. All right. You're all that. Okay? Mackenzie showed me that she's all of that. Good fight. So we had a pretty good card. 128. 298, and I think 299 is coming. And I think, you know what? 300 that was made up, all that shit, I don't think it's going to be all that. Another thing, Ilia. What's next for Ilia? Ilia. There's nothing in the 145. What are you gonna throw the Russian at him? What's his name? He's 15-0. He already made Mobsar. He even look. This guy hasn't beaten anybody. 8 decision, 4 split. Blah blah blah. Maybe they should give him his dad to fight, and maybe he can take him out and finish somebody. You know who would be interesting if O'Malley comes up? If O'Malley comes up, either that or give Alex the rematch, but the next one has to be in Spain, man, in that stadium. Give it to Ilia. He deserves it. Spain deserves it. UFC would be great in Spain. They would sell out. They would break a record on an arena sellout. I bet you. I bet you they would break a record in an arena sellout if they go to where Royal Madrid or plays. What does that?
85,000.
85,000. I was going to say 100. But I bet you if you add the field, because remember, it's 85,000 in the stands. You take a soccer field and you put an octagon in the middle of that, how many more can you sit on the field? And I bet you can fit another 7,000 or 10,000 there in the field. So that shit may be banking on 100. Wow, holy shit. But anyways, if O'Malley or Volkanovski for the rematch goes to Spain, I think they break it. So anyways, that's that. Bum, bum, bum. Rant time. Now to spin off on authenticity. and today's admin meeting, the administration meeting that I always have on Mondays with Rio and Gandhi, talked about this. Folks, people know when you're authentic, when you're giving it your all, or when you're just bullshitting. People know when you're giving it the 60%, or when you're giving 60, but the 60 is your 100%. People know. So let's say that I give you 60 units of energy, okay? If it's my 60%, it's felt. And it's felt like first impression, like a gut feeling. Why do you feel that? I don't know, but I feel it. It's just meh. But when you give them 60 units of energy, but it's 100% of everything you've got, it comes across. It comes across in body language. It comes across in intonation. It comes across in words. It comes across in timing, the way you breathe, all right? How much force you're putting, intonation, diction, all that. Your linguistic stylism, okay? The style of your linguistic delivery, it comes out. And people just pick it up, all right? You have to be authentic. Means if I tell you it's my everything, it's got to be your everything, okay? If I am trying to psych you out by talking shit, trying to convince me that I am a badass, it comes across. Now, a shallow person, you can sell on that. You can sell and intimidate. But if a bullshit talker, a guy trying to raise himself and trying to comes across, a person who's authentic, meaning you are living by what you believe in, which are principles. Principles. I am who I say I am. I come and give you my everything. I am open with you, all right? I don't come to deceive you. I come to give you my best. If it's competition, I come to give you my best. And my best, I have every intentions in putting you in the hospital. But this is my best. I come honestly. I'm letting you know you're going to go to the hospital. That's going to be my intent. Okay? And that I truly believe, with all due respects, that I am better than you. You don't even belong in this room with me. If you can do that without insulting, without screaming, without anything, that is powerful shit, man. An authentic person, okay, will pick that up and they'll go, oh shit, I'm in trouble. And a person who's not authentic still picks it up because it's something that they don't have. So it just kind of overpowers falsehood, all right? So authenticity is what you pick up in the first impression, okay? Somebody can come in with a suit, but they're talking nonsense. They're talking, out the side of their face. You know what I'm saying? You can pick it up. You can't fake authenticity. You can't fake being a predator, a true predator. That Ilia shit, that Habib shit, that Duplessis shit, okay? You can't fake that. That's either the way you feel and this is everything I am, or you got to do the social media and all this bullshit. You got to do the Colby. You got to do all that. You got to do all that. And it doesn't mean that somebody who talks shit won't be good at a skill. It just means they're not authentic. You can be brave and not authentic. You don't even have to be brave. You can listen to this. You can be careless in a situation and sell it as bravery. Okay? It's not bravery. Like, for example, fighters, they fight. They go into the octagon and they fight. They put their life on the line. They do some shit that most of us couldn't even fathom. Does that make them courageous? Does that make them authentic? Does that make them, courageous? No. It just makes them fighters. Okay? I've worked with SEAL Team 6, Special Forces guys. They'll walk into bullets like nothing. Yet they come here, back to home, and they avoid interpersonal skills, interpersonal communications. They'll avoid conflict that you and I can have easily like this because we have conflict resolution strategies that work in society. They may not. They have conflict resolution strategies that deal with weaponry, okay, knives, hand-to-hand, what they call combatives. It's not martial arts, it's combatives. Combatives and martial arts are different. Combatives is what you use in the Special Armed Forces. You're in a roof and you're going to fall off. And this guy's got you in a bear hug. There's no time for guns and shit. You got to take out your blade and put it to work. Okay? And don't think that a blade is, you stab it like what the movies are. No, you stab something, they have to keep coming. They have to keep coming, because if not, it's them off the roof. So it's you or them. So in those situations, combatives is what you use. Putting an eye out, biting an ear off to buy you enough time to change the position so you can get to your knife and then put it in a certain place 3 or 4 times. Whether you hit a trigger and turn them off immediately, okay, or whether you hit a time switch. And there's injuries that are time switch. Like when you bleed out, that's a timer. That's a time switch. You hit that and in about 30 seconds, it'll have its effect. But you got to weather 30 seconds. And there are switches, okay, that are instantly turning something off. And you got to know what those are. Those are combatives, okay? So Special Forces are great at combatives. They do that shit that you and I can, I don't even want to think about that. I can't watch a video about it. I can barely have a conversation about it. But they come in here and, they can't even negotiate whether you're going to put a curtain up on a window or not. Where a husband and a wife negotiate that all the time. They can't. They don't have it, So what I'm saying is that sometimes what is looked at as being courageous is just being fierce in a specific situation, or being able to ignore danger, which is not always a good thing. You don't want to play in the street. Why? Because there's a danger of getting hit by a car. You want to pay attention to that danger. Most of the times, if there's a gun over there and somebody can shoot you, you want to be aware of that danger and go this way. Special Forces are not built like that because sometimes you got to go in the direction of the gun and the bullet. Got it? So courage, okay, and being fierce and being brave are two different things. And being brave and being careless, there's a very thin line. So you got to understand, authenticity deals with the courage of truth. The courage of truth. Things you know to be self-evident. Principles. What is a principle? A natural law that if broken will always turn out to shit. Natural law. Gravity. Okay, natural law. Falling off a 3-story building onto cement. Landing on your head. You don't need a source for that. What's going to happen. You don't need research. You don't need what's your source. You don't need that shit. Those are self-evident truths. If you don't follow that principle and you try that, it's going to come out bad. So the authenticity, folks, is what I tell Rio. You got to be authentic. And you got to put all of your effort into this project. Not the mere minimum. Because if the mere minimum doesn't work, then you abandon the project. But you don't know if your maximum would have made the project successful. Because you threw a 60% at it and it failed. And you go, well, I'm not going to pursue it. What if 80% was is what was needed for it to succeed. What if 100%? Why don't you just do 100? Give it your best. Give it your best. And if it doesn't work, then you know that 60 would have never worked. But to give something 60 and then rely on that data as to whether you're going to continue, on that path or not, is bullshit. It's a minimalist type of approach that will never get you optimum life. So authenticity has to deal with the truth, principled truth, and having the courage to live and die by those principled truths. Does that mean you're going to be perfect? No. But this is how I explain it to Rio. Look, let's say that if you don't even know that authenticity and that energy and that feel and that principled truths exist, okay, then you have chaos. Then you're just fucking going through life, maybe getting 40% out of your life, where 100% is maximum. If you were perfect, what you're never going to be. Okay, so let's say that a father or a mentor or somebody makes you aware of authenticity, makes you aware about principles, making you aware of living by principles. You go, okay, now I got a structure. Now I've got these bumpers that, that I got to live within. I can't go ape shit. Okay? And your life goes from 40% to 45%. That's more than 10%. Okay? 10%, you don't think it's a lot? If we did $1 million gross here at IHP and was our record. Wow, $1 million. Holy shit. We came 7,000 short of $1 million. 10%, 5 on 40 is more than 10%. 10% of this shit would bring us to 1.1 million next year. That means we would have an extra $100,000 to work with to make the place better, to pay our people better, to give them better benefits. You know what I'm saying? 100,000 on $1 million. And this is just a regular business. It's not a big business, just regular business. Mom and pop type of shit. So let's say as you practiced living more principled life, held yourself a little bit to a higher standard, of course, fucking up half the time. You go from 40 to 50, that's 10%. I mean, that's 10 points. That's 20% of 40. And on and on and on. So let's say that over 15, 20 years, 10 years, you go from 40 to 60 to 70%. Still making errors, because I'm 64, still making errors. But I'm a much more integral human being now at 64 than I was at 30, then I was at 40, and that was at 50. That's not just years, because if you take somebody, all right, and you put them in a vacuum for 10 years, they come out the same, identically the same, except 10 years chronologically older. Because what makes you wiser is your processing of life activities and life events, processing them and coming out the other side learning something. That's evolution. That's coming into your own. That's maturity, living your best, that kind of shit. All right? But what you're doing is, now I've got Rio knowing that authenticity is an energy, and you have to be authentic, and you got to give it your shit, your best. Give it your fucking best. Okay? So you never have to worry about, well, it didn't work out. Well, it didn't work out because I punked out. It worked out because I didn't have the right strategy. Fine. I can live with that. But not because I did 60 and 90 was necessary or 100 was necessary. Fuck it. Be authentic. Okay? Give it your 100 all the time. You fuck up, fine. Fine. But imagine if we didn't have any laws and any traffic laws, any traffic rules, any traffic, nothing. What would happen? We would, fucking accidents everywhere. But now we have two-way, lanes going that way, going this way. We have traffic, we have stop signs, we have some rules. So what happens? Now only 3% of the people get into car accidents, 1%. So with these rules of authenticity, living your principled truth, and having the courage to live and die on your principled truth, if you practice that and practice that and practice that and learn that, okay, your life is only going to get better. And shit's only going to get better. So there's my rant. Be authentic, be courageous. All right, so now we go into the we listen. All right, we listen is where, the Q&A. We listen to you guys. All right, so we have a couple of questions that we're going to combine into one question, because I'm going to give you the long answer that's going to answer these two that we had plus others that we've had in the past. Basically, you have 6 or 7 major modalities that you use, okay? Stability balls, medicine balls, bands and pulleys, dumbbells, body weight, machines. Let's put that. 6. Which one is your favorite? For what? What's your favorite tool? For what? Okay? So what's your favorite tool in the toolbox? For what? Yeah, you know. So this week was bands and pulleys or machines. Number one, a pulley could be considered a machine. All right. Number two, bands and pulleys are very different because one is variable resistance, the other one is constant mass. Even constant mass, okay, doesn't provide constant resistance because no movement provides constant resistance because a movement requires changing lever arms. And when you have changing lever arms, the tension on the muscle being worked, let's say that it's an isolation muscle, okay, it's an isolation exercise, say bicep curls, depends on where you are in the bicep curl, the bicep sees different tensions, and especially depending on your body position. Are you using a band? Are you using a pulley? Where the vector of load is coming from and how the body's positioned. Okay? So you cannot say any of those things are definitive. For what? Here's the difference. Machines. Okay. When do I really like machines? Like you're asking, when do you really like a hammer? Because if the answer is to undo a screw, no, it's not very good. But when do you like a hammer? When do you like machines? I love machines for bodybuilding. I love machines to bang on one muscle. I love machines with my geriatric population. Why? Or with my multiple sclerosis, my Parkinson's, those people that don't have neurological control to be standing up and doing functional shit. Because if they have some kind of neurological issue that impedes muscle contraction, whether it's through conduction or the contraction mechanism itself, all right, then you end up with muscle atrophy. So when you have muscle atrophy, the number one thing that you want to go after is replace the muscle, recover the muscle, or at least hold on to whatever muscle you have. It's not function, it's holding on to the structure. It's not whether the car can go, it's do we have a car? Do we have a car with windows and doors and tires and an engine that we can then check about the function, then check if it ignites or what it needs. Okay? So structure. I love machines to handle structure on people who can't manipulate their structure, on people who can't control their structure, on people who are losing their structure because they don't have control of their structure. For all of that shit, structure, gaining muscle, stabilizing systems so you can concentrate on any one thing, machines are safe. They are easy to use. They are awesome. They are by far the most effective for that. Now, for muscle control and body control and function, whatever. Sometimes dumbbells are better. Sometimes medicine balls are better. Sometimes the variable resistance. Let's put it band and pulleys. In general, I love them. Why? Because with weight, I can load vertically. But with a band and pulley, I can load anywhere I want. I can pull up, pull angle, pull sideways, pull angle down, pull down. I can do whatever I want. With variable resistance of a band, I can move explosively and not get light weights to stack, to fly. Okay, these stacks, they don't fly. But if I put 80 pounds and I throw a punch, I can't do it fast. So I'm not going to develop speed, as much speed as if I was using a band. See what I'm saying? So you can't ask that question because it depends on the application. What are you trying to do? Just like you can't say, I got to have one tool. What is it? A hammer, a plier, or I don't know, a screwdriver. I'm going to, for what? It's like, I don't know. And then I'll ask you, what is your job? Construction, take a hammer. Take a hammer because you're going to get more use out of a hammer than pliers and screwdrivers. Well, I work on, electronics, small electronics. Take little screwdrivers, take a welding thing or something like that. Then it becomes different things. You can't ask for one tool for everything because it depends on the application. You can't ask machines. You can't ask bands or pulleys because you got to say, what are you trying to accomplish? And for whatever you're trying to accomplish, there's usually a better solution than the others. That doesn't mean you can't get big with bands. Of course you can get big with bands because the muscle responds to the resistance put on it. And I can put resistance on a muscle with a sandbag, band, my body weight, a band and pulley, a machine, anything. So as long as I can put resistance on a muscle, I can get the muscle to adapt. If I put a lot of resistance with low volume, I get strength. If I put moderate resistance with moderate volume, I get hypertrophy. If I put low resistance with high speed and lower volume, I get power. See what I'm saying? So it all depends. I can get whatever I want out of whatever you give me. Is it going to be optimal? Maybe, maybe not, but I can do it. I can do it. All right? So, and the second one is, what is my favorite hamstring exercise? Let's start with what's not. What's not my favorite is the Nordic curls. Stupid exercise. It's like developing shoulder stability with an iron cross. Let's do something that nobody can do so we can get better. Stupid. Stupid, stupid, stupid. Okay? If you look at how, especially for running, which was the question, what's your favorite hamstring for exercise for running? I got two of them because running is a kind of, if you break it down simple, you have gravity and you have horizontal momentum. When the foot hits the ground, first thing you're doing is your body's coming down, foot hits the ground, so you have to amortize this vertical gravity vector. Okay, so that kind of like becomes a leg press. That becomes like a standing compressive move, right? So for that, one of my favorite exercises is the single leg anterior reach, okay? Which is planting or the single leg squat. For the pulling, now once the foot is on the ground, I am actually pulling and extending my hip and trying to keep the knee from extending so it's eccentric at the knee, concentric at the hip. So I'm kind of pulling, driving my hip forward, and that's your horizontal component of running. For that, simple. The single leg stability ball bridge is by far the best. Easy, you can do it. Now, if you have a 45-degree bench and you want to handle or progress to single leg hamstring extensions, which are different than glute extensions, we can teach you that, and that's a little bit more advanced. But simple, single leg anterior reach, okay, and single leg stability ball bridges. If I had to choose one of them, I'll go with the horizontal one. I'll go with the horizontal because I know you do squats and I know you do leg presses. And if you do single leg squats and single leg presses, the horizontal component of running takes care of itself, especially if you do single leg. So then all I have is the pulling, that pulling component. That's a lot of times where the shit happens. Then the single leg stability ball bridge is it. You don't have a stability ball, no problem. Lay on your living room floor, put your foot on your couch, make sure you use some kind of towel or some shit, because if you have a light color couch and you stay in it with your shoes, your wife's gonna beat your ass. All right? And if you're a girl, then you can get it dirty because the guy won't give a shit. But anyways, that's it. The single leg bridge for that horizontal component is my number one go-to exercise for hamstring strength for running and also injury prevention. So there you have it, guys. We listen all the time. We thank you for joining our podcast. Rio will wrap it up. Love you. See you next week.
All right, guys. That is a wrap for episode number 14. I want to always thank you guys for taking the time. JC's rant was pretty cool today, definitely unique, and yeah, he was correct. We went over it last meeting this morning, and we always kind of go through those like non-business, but it's always business topics with him, myself, the staff, Gandhi, and everybody. So it's always cool to relay that message from this office or this studio to you guys watching worldwide. So as always, drop a comment, drop a like, drop a share. We always want you guys to give us feedback. And if you have any questions that you want myself or JC to answer, just comment them below or message us on any of the platforms and we'll get right back to you. All right, guys, have a great week. See you next week. Peace out.